establishing overall classroom rules and procedures. In addition to or in place of a classroom pledge or a classroom promise, some teachers establish a few briefly worded rules for general classroom behavior. In general, classroom rules such as, you see the figure right now, figure 1.3, they deal with respect, politeness, consideration, but other general rules also help to keep the classroom safe and orderly and conducive for learning. Many teachers engage their students in establishing the overall rules and procedures. For example, you might facilitate a discussion at the beginning of the year about what is appropriate and what is inappropriate for students. When is it appropriate for them to leave their seats? When is it appropriate for them to emphasize the importance of demonstrating politeness and respect for others? Something I've done in my class, I asked the students at the beginning of the year, what makes a great classroom? Or I would ask them this question. Just think about a time when you had a great class. Think about a time when you loved the classroom environment. What were some of the aspects of that environment that made you love and enjoy that classroom environment? Then I'd have the students then share together what they wrote down. And then I'd have a share out where everybody would then share what were some of the characteristics of a classroom that they loved. And what you'd find is that there's some reoccurring themes that would happen as these students are now sharing what makes a great classroom. And then from there, we would then pull out what would then be our classroom rules and classroom procedures and behavior. Although there are, of course, some common overall rules for an elementary classroom and a secondary classroom that teachers can establish, rules also vary depending upon age and grade level. So I would not attempt to give you some rules right now because you could be it all depends on your setting. You could be a secondary classroom teacher, you could be elementary classroom teachers, and rules and expectations and procedures are relevant for the class level that you are teaching. Although students may, so in an elementary classroom, students may have assigned seats. In a secondary classroom, you may not have to have assigned seats. It all depends on your context. In addition to general rules for classroom behavior, teachers can create graphics and you can create posters emphasizing the importance of character, specific personal characteristics such as honesty, integrity, and respect as shown in figure 4. For general classroom procedures, you can establish simple gestures or symbols to communicate basic messages in the classroom. A raised hand, that would mean a signal that it's time to keep quiet, time to pay attention. Students can raise their hands so that they would stop talking as well and look at you. Hands over the ears. Put your hands over your ears to signal that that group work has become too noisy, or quietly walk over and flicking the lights on and off could be an indication to students as well that it's getting a little bit too noisy. The raising of a pencil or a book. Students can hold up a book or a pencil to signal that they need help. So these are just some simple suggestions that can go into classroom rules and procedures so that you can help to bring more order to your classroom. One common situation in which the raised hand technique can be used is in a school assembly. So in some schools, people raise their hand and everybody in the school would raise their hand as well, and people would get quiet. So you see in figure 1.5, these are another example of a visible reminder that can be posted in the classroom that you can go over with students. Eyes on the speaker, mouth quiet, be still, hands free, and listen. So these are just some examples. In terms of bully proofing rules, that's the figure 1.6 that you see right now, and these can also be posted in your classroom.